Hey everyone, Catherine Avery here of the Uncluttered Office. Today is episode 10, Faith, Balance, and Be the Board. I want you to know I learned to surf on Monday. Now, if you told me at age 53 and a badass cancer survivor that I would get up on a board in the waves in North Carolina, I would have told you there was no way in hell that was ever happening. At any rate, I was down in Carolina Beach, North Carolina, visiting with Andrea and Barbara of Productive Environment Institute. That's what happens when your company is Productivity by Design and the group you're a part of is Productive Environment Institute. I said it right the second time. At any rate, I was down there because I had set three intentions for my business and wanted to get them accomplished. And so I'd gone on this amazing retreat. And those three intentions were to build a sales funnel and strategy, be open to all possibilities, and have fun. You're probably saying the latter two aren't really real goals, but they were goals about how I wanted to be in the time I was there because things might shift while we're there, and that is what often happens in life. So, at any rate, while I was down there, Andrea mentioned to me that her buddy Tony has this amazing surfing school right near their condo. And she said, do you want to take a lesson? And I have no idea what made me say yes, except that probably surfing was about being open to possibilities and having some fun. So I said, sure, I'm going to do it. And I would go out each morning at 8 a.m., each morning being Monday and Tuesday, because I was only there a few days. And I learned some really amazing lessons about business and productivity while I was out surfing. So I thought I would share those with you today. So the first thing is all about beginner's mind. So, in yoga and in meditation, they talk about having a beginner's mindset and what that means when you're starting your practice of yoga and meditation, which is that you come without huge expectations. You're not trying to be perfect. You're just trying to start. So in the case of surfing, you're just trying to get on the board. So when you're doing something new or you're making a shift, which is what I've been in the process of doing, you have to get out of your comfort zone. So what's that going to involve? It's probably going to involve some fair amount of fear. So I can tell you that when I got up Tuesday morning, it was so dang funny. I realized I was flat out terrified. I was sure the board was going to hit me in the head, knock me down, the riptide was going to drag me under, and I would die a watery death. I have to tell you, all I can think is, oh no, there's nothing like that lizard brain kicking in full force. And if you're saying what's a lizard brain, that's your amygdala, which keeps you safe, so to speak. But here's the thing. You're going to have to feel the fear and you're going to have to do it anyway. I hate to tell you, that's just how it is. So I have to say, my first attempt, I was happy I stayed on the board at all. No, I did not stand up on my first attempt. I stood up, I think, on my third attempt. But just so you know, where the magic happens in life and in business is outside of your comfort zone. So if you're feeling afraid, you can start to make correlations. So they were saying, do you skateboard? I hadn't skateboarded in years. Do you ski? And I do ski. They actually asked about snowboarding, but I don't snowboard. So that wasn't an option for me. But I do ski. And skiing does involve balancing on little boards. So I thought, well, if I can stay up on my skis, I could get up on a surfboard, right? I have to say, though, when you're on your skis, you're standing already. On a surfboard, you go from lying down to supposedly a plank, which wasn't happening for me. And then you pop up onto the surfboard. I had a very slow pop up. But the fact is, I got up on that board. The second thing I learned from surfing was you've got to have faith. You need to trust the process of learning. So each time you fall, in essence, you fail. But I'm learning that failure isn't good or bad. It's something you just have to detach from. And it's new information. So each time I fell off the board, I was learning something new. I was either learning about how to actually get on that wave and find it, or I was learning about how I was going to get my body into the right position, because it's not just that you pop up, you have to twist on the way up. I was learning that I had to pay attention, not so much to the board as to where I was going, and we'll get to that in a second. So the first thing to know is I got up. The first time I got up, which was, I think, the third time I was out on the board, I got over the fear. I was no longer afraid. I wasn't going to wipe out. Well, I was going to wipe out, but I wasn't going to die in the process of wiping out. And one of the reasons this went so well is because I had a coach. I had an instructor, and it was a private lesson because I'm too damn old to be taking group lessons. And one of the things that happened was the the instructor and I were getting our signals crossed. So he was saying one thing, I thought he was supposed to say another, etc. And I have to tell you, at some point I told him, I said, you need to talk to me like your dog. I need commands, sit, stay. And his eyes went really wide, and he was 20 years old, by the way. So he was just completely horrified that he would have to talk that way to me. And I said, no, you don't understand. I just need clear instructions. So from now on, you're going to say paddle, and then you're going to shout, pop up. So point of that is, don't be afraid to tell someone in authority what you need nicely. It's okay to give feedback to your instructor or your coach saying, this is what I need. They're there to help you. Third thing is all about that balance. And I was just saying that a minute ago. In order to focus on the horizon, I said that backwards. In order to stay balanced on your board, you have to be facing the horizon. You have to be looking at where you're going. So eventually that becomes intuitive, right? It's sort of like learning how to drive. When you learn how to drive, you're completely focused on everything around you. You're having to remember to step on the gas, step on the brake, turn on your turn signal, watch for the other cars. Goodness, there's 10,000 things we do driving, and I've been driving for a lot of years, so I don't remember them all. But ultimately, they all become intuitive, and it gets to the point where you could actually have a conversation while you're driving. When I was learning how to drive, I was not having a conversation. I was too busy concentrating. So this was the case for me with surfing. I had to focus on every little detail as I was going along, but the longer I did it, the better I got, the less I had to worry about it. So what I want to say about this for your business or for your life is, if you lose sight of your long-term vision, you're going to metaphorically wipe out. I know I do. If I forget what my most important priorities are, I overcommit. I play one too many games of Candy Crush. I forget to go to an appointment. I don't meet a deadline. And I want you to know that that's okay. This is a judgment-free zone. We're all guilty of this from time to time. And I'm using guilty as sort of a quote. Like, don't beat yourself up. It's okay. So if you don't know what your values are, take a few minutes now, write down your 3 top values, make some goals around those values. The biggest thing is you got to write that shit down. You got to put it on the wall where you can see it every single day. And then you're done. And it's great. And you can go ride that wave. Next lesson. Be the board, Danny. Be the board. So there's a movie called Caddyshack. It goes way back. I'm definitely aging myself. And in Caddyshack, Danny is playing in the game of his life. His golf partner is played by Chevy Chase. And Chevy Chase teaches him how to play golf blindfolded so that he can show him how to block out the distraction and focus solely on being the ball. So there I am out on the board, and suddenly I see Andrea, and she's going to take some pictures and some video of me. And I get so nervous and distracted that I keep falling off and falling off. And so I decide that the only way I'm going to be able to do this is to block out all distractions. And by doing that, I'm going to do what I call Zen board. And it was very funny because Jackson saw me there lying very flat on the board and being incredibly quiet. And he said, why? And I said, it's Zen board time. Be the board, Danny. Be the board. He had no idea what I was talking about because he's 20 and hasn't seen Caddyshack, which is a tragic loss. So all you folks out there who are millennials and Gen Z, go see Caddyshack. It's amazing. Actually, don't go see it. Just rent it. Or I guess you don't even have to rent it anymore. It's probably on Netflix. Again, I'm showing my age. So the final lesson I learned from surfing, you can tell I really loved it, and I think I'm going to be surfing a lot more in the future, is be epic. You know that whole life is about the journey stuff your grandma taught you? She was right. Not every one of my rides is perfect. I have yet to ride all the way in. Every single ride of mine ends in a fall. Sometimes by design, I know I'm going to fall and it's easier to just do it than to really hurt myself. And some were just complete yard sales. By the way, that's a skiing term. Everything, everywhere, just a mess. But it's okay. First of all, I'm not injured. I'm a little sore in my shoulder areas, but I'm not injured in any bad way. I'm learning. I'm stoked. I'm having fun. So here's the bottom line. Just think about what it's like at age 53 for me to have learned that I could do something completely different, really kind of difficult, and still have success after only 2 hours of lessons. I mean, that is the ultimate in badass. So I encourage you, go ride the waves, fist bump after every single try, celebrate that success. Buy the t-shirt. And by the way, I'll see you on the surf. Wishing you all success in your business and in your life. This is Catherine Avery with the Uncluttered Office. I'll see you next week.